Wow, this is massive news. Just spoken with Harvard professor Avi Loeb about this interstellar object, 3I Atlas. He's done a research paper and with a couple of colleagues, and they are saying basically the trajectory of it is such that it could be planning an attack on Earth around November, December. This is massive. The science, the data is there. It's got a very low trajectory, which makes it easy to basically launch attacks. And as far as we're aware, the only inhabited planet in this solar system. He suggests that they could be planning some sort of mission, and we need to be ready for it. Let me know your thoughts. I'm going to be setting up a full interview with him next week. We'll do it live here. Thank you for watching.
So now Avi Loeb is saying that according to his studies, there's only a 1% chance that 3I Atlas is a natural object of some sorts. Meaning that he believes, according to his studies, that there is a 99% chance that 3I Atlas is some sort of alien ship or probe. 99% chance. Now, look, I'm not saying that I'm buying into this because I am not buying into all of this yet. Do I think that this object, whatever it is, if it even exists, do I think that it could be an alien craft? Yeah. I don't necessarily think that we're going to be invaded or attacked. That's where everyone's mind is immediately going. And I don't know. I'm wondering why, as soon as we heard this story, it was automatically framed as, oh, this would be some sort of hostile alien ship that is here to cause us harm. Because couldn't there be a possibility that whatever this is like the alien equivalent of one of our satellites, one of our probes that we kind of send out there in space to see if they could find sentient life out there? We got crafts out there looking for, electromagnetic waves and radio waves and stuff. Could this be one of those type of objects, an alien version? Just because if this is a alien craft of sorts, it doesn't mean that they're here to invade or destroy planet Earth or anything. It could just be like all of these other UFO-related incidents. And I don't know. That's what's weird about this story, because the UFO topic has already been opened up. Most of us who believe in UFOs, we believe they've already been here. They're probably here right now. So what's with this buildup, of this object slowly headed towards Earth? We already believe that aliens have visited. So I don't know. The way the media is building this story up and hyping this story up, it just feels so odd to me. But a 99% chance, I mean, this guy is really putting his reputation on the line behind this. But there's other scientists and people in the UFO community that are kind of calling him out. And they're going against his claims. Some even say that he kind of sings a different tune behind closed doors. And that doesn't make me feel any better about the situation. Because let's say none of this is real. Let's say there's no reason for this guy to even believe that this is an alien craft. Well, why is he so adamantly coming out here saying this stuff? And why is the media paying him attention? There's a lot of real stories out there that we watch the media totally ignore, right? We watch the media totally ignore stories as if they don't exist all the time. They're not ignoring this story, though. They're talking about this. They want people talking about this. So it really makes you wonder. But like I said, they're talking about this on the news, and I want to show you a recent conversation that was just had about this topic. They're going to discuss the possibilities of using the Juno spacecraft to collide with this object, all types of stuff. It's kind of interesting just hearing these conversations be had right out there in the open, because either we're really headed towards a point where they're just disclosing a lot of information to us that they usually wouldn't, or they're hyping us up for one of their little schemes. I'm going to go ahead and roll this news clip really quickly, though, and then I'll be right back with more thoughts.
Comet 3I Atlas was discovered on July 1st. According to NASA, it is just the third known object to be discovered within our own solar system that originated from outside our solar system. And it has drifted for millions, possibly even billions of years before it arrived here. Joining us to talk more about this, News Nation special correspondent and investigative journalist Ross Coulthart. Ross, it is always so good to see you. And first, let's just start with this assertion by Professor Loeb. Why does he believe this could be an alien craft, and what is your take here?
Good evening, Natasha. Well, look, I think the primary reason why Professor Loeb thinks that it might be something of a technological origin rather than something natural, interstellar, is because of its trajectory, that it does pass unusually behind the sun at its closest point behind when it's near the sun, and more importantly, the speed. He attaches a lot of significance to the speed. But I do notice, Natasha, in his blog, Professor Loeb has actually said, and I quote, by far the most likely outcome will be that this is a completely natural interstellar object, probably a comet. And boy, is Professor Loeb copying it at the moment from traditional astronomy. He's really drawing a lot of fire for his suggestion that this might be something technological, something alien, because frankly, there isn't really a lot of evidence to support that claim.
You know, he is suggesting using the sunsetting NASA spacecraft Juno to intercept this object, to use that opportunity. Can you help explain that move and if there is value to that?
Okay, well, Juno is obviously a spacecraft sent out by NASA that's currently orbiting Jupiter. There is potentially sufficient fuel on board to attempt this rendezvous, but it's a huge expense and it's a huge diversion of a spacecraft from its originally assigned task, which is to investigate Jupiter. I think personally there's a lot of merit in the broad idea of what Professor Loeb is suggesting, which is that we do need to resource the investigation of so-called techno-signatures more rigidly, that we do need to start looking more aggressively than just using SETI, which is only looking for, that's the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. It's only looking for radio signals, radio waves. And frankly, any alien civilization probably wouldn't be using electromagnetic energy in that way. So there's a frustration among a lot of people in science, including Professor Loeb, that not enough resources is going to looking for other techno-signatures. I just don't think, from talking to many astronomers, it's a good idea to go diverting existing spacecraft from, for example, Juno in orbit around Jupiter, or suggesting that these are necessarily alien probes with hostile intent. It's inflammatory, and frankly, there's not a lot of evidence for it on current evidence and data.
Okay, so, you know, Professor Loeb saying that Congresswoman Luna called him about this potential Juno move, and now she is asking NASA about the feasibility of, rather than sending Juno careening into the surface of Jupiter and ending its life cycle, to instead be diverted and to help deal with this. Do you think that NASA is likely to do this, or what is the likely response here from everything I'm seeing you shaking your head already?
NASA is chronically under-resourced right now. It's taking a huge squeeze under the current administration. I think the chances of any deviation from existing schedules are extremely unlikely. And most scientists would say that it's highly implausible, including Professor Loeb himself. He's acknowledged his speculation at the moment is unlikely.
And let me ask very quickly, Ross, do we have the technology and the ability to intercept and deal with, in the future, anything alien in nature, especially if it is hostile, as Avi Loeb is raising his hand and saying this might be?
Officially, no. Unofficially, I suspect the US has a lot more than it's letting on about. I do think that the United States is well aware of NHI. The evidence is indeed becoming overwhelming. And frankly, I suspect that they have technology and equipment that they're keeping in the black, which they're not disclosing to the public. And that's the big issue right now. I think the better emphasis is on looking for the evidence that we have on our doorstep than suggesting quite extravagant missions that would cost an enormous amount of money and resources and time, which are further out into the universe or the galaxy.
I've been telling you guys since day one when this news broke that this story does not sit right with me. It does not feel right to me. And I say that as someone who believes in UFOs. I believe in aliens. I'm really skeptical about a lot of the stuff that's been going on lately. And this story has just been giving me this weird feeling. And I think everyone is focused on the conversation of, is Avi Loeb right or is he wrong? But I think there's a bigger conversation to be had. We're focused on, and when I say we, I don't necessarily mean me or you, but most people are focused on, oh, could he be right? Or, oh, he's definitely wrong. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I feel like if he is wrong, which he probably is, I feel like he's wrong for a reason. I don't feel like he's just coming out here and saying all of this for his own health. I believe he's being pushed to do so. I believe there's an obvious push behind this story, which is why this story has gotten bigger than a lot of other stories you hear about involving UFOs or what have you. So I think the bigger conversation is not if he's right or wrong, but why is he pushing this info? Why now is he deciding to push this info on people? And, I pointed this out in previous videos, but in the UFO community, there's been a lot of talks about 2026, 2027, they're going to tell a lie about a spaceship slowly headed towards Earth. These conversations are being had by some of these so-called whistleblowers and a lot of prominent people in the UFO community. Jeremy Corbell himself is one of the people that introduced this idea to the masses. And I'm sure some of you have seen that clip where he's talking about the spaceship slowly headed towards Earth, and he says that it's all going to be a huge lie. So when I saw this story, it really made me think of that. It made me think about all of these rumblings that I've been hearing about for a while, that they're going to tell everyone a huge lie about a spaceship headed towards Earth, and they're going to use this lie to do whatever they want to do, whatever their agenda is. But recently, after all of this 3i Atlas stuff is going on, Jeremy Corbell was on a podcast with Duncan Trussell, and Duncan asked him directly about this situation, and I wasn't really satisfied with Jeremy Corbell's answer. It kind of feels like he kind of downplayed his previous comments, made it like a nothing burger, as if he was like taken out of context or something. He was really dodgy when he was questioned about his previous claims about the slow craft headed towards Earth. So that didn't sit right with me. That made me feel kind of, I don't know, it made me raise my eyebrows as well. Because in the clip, he's really dramatic about this happening. And then when he was questioned about it like a week or so ago, he kind of shot it all down. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on here, but I think we all know that something's going on here. And that's what we're trying to get to the bottom of. And I don't think that everyone who watches these videos, they don't understand that we're not here, I'm not here, and most of my audience isn't here to convince you that aliens are coming to invade in November. We're simply discussing this story that is also being discussed in Congress and on the news and a lot of other places. All of these top-tier scientists are weighing in. So we're just joining in on the conversation and giving our thoughts. You can give your thoughts, though, down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.